the chapter number 3, the New Economic Policy 1991, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. The question arises that what was the need for the New Economic Policy 1991? India went for 5-year plans, very good plans. From 1950 to 1990, it is considered as India's first phase of planning, where, if you remember in the chapter number 2, public sectors were given more emphasis, or I can say responsibilities. But by the time we reached to 1990, India was in a very bad state. Now, how I define this bad state? India was having foreign currency stock of only 7 days. That means India could trade only for 7 days, import only for 7 days. If you talk about the most important import, say crude oil, which India doesn't produce, for buying crude oil and some other essential goods, we were having money which could have allowed us to trade only for 7 days. And after 7 days, if we don't get crude oil, after the stocks of crude oils are over, India will come to a standstill. Industries will be stopped, machines will stop, railways will stop. Everything will stop because crude oil is very important today. World Bank also denied to give fresh loans to India because we were not paying the debt, interest on debt also regularly. That is called debt servicing. We were not servicing our debt also. That is, we are not paying the interest on debt. Forget about paying off the debt. We are not paying the interest of debts also. Public sectors were completely failure. Because when IMF and World Bank denied loans, there were some reasons behind that. They observed our economy. They observed that we are completely a failed economy. And that's why they told our leaders that they cannot. Remember that time the finance minister was Dr. Manmohan Singh. So they denied fresh loans to India because they reasoned out with our finance minister that the public sectors are completely failed. They are not producing goods and services. They are in losses. The government is financing them through budgets. The budget is also in deficit. To fulfill those deficits, India is printing new currency notes. There is flow of money in the market. Due to that, inflation rates are high. The availability of goods and services is very less. The production is less. So there is demand pull inflations in the economy. And due to that, there is imports which are done by the people to satisfy their needs, wants, comforts, luxuries, because India has failed to produce the goods. The black marketing is on. You might have seen the movie Badmaash Company. In that it was depicted that how they were importing the goods from the various countries and then selling it into the Indian markets. There was illegal marketing of these goods, and it was flourishing in India. People were not paying taxes. They were not satisfied with the government. Government revenues were going down day by day. There was mass poverty, unemployment, no infrastructure, telephone lines, 5 years you have to wait. You cannot open a bank account. You have to bribe the officers to open a bank account. Lot of problems with India. And such country cannot be given new loans. And if they want loans, there was a condition that they have to now change the old policies and adopt new policies. And these new policies were liberalization, privatization, and globalization. They have to become global. They have to allow the foreign producers to sell their products in the market, so that there will be varieties, there will be trade, there will be investment, the money will flow to the country, and country can earn. But Dr. Manmohan Singh, you know that he's a smart economist. He agreed to the condition, but first he said that I'll start with liberalization first in 1991, and 1992 I'll go for privatization, and later on I'll make my country global. And he promised the World Bank and IMF, and was able to sanction the new fresh loans to India, so that India can run for more number of days. And very smartly, he introduced liberalization policy in 1991. Why he did that, I'll be discussing with you later on. Because first he wanted to liberalize. That means he wanted the private sectors now to participate. He wanted to make the policy so liberal for the private sectors, so that they should not fear to participate in the economic activities, that is production. So policies were made very liberal, easy policies, flexible policies in favor of the private sectors. They were motivated, boosted, given it benefits, so that they participate, so that there is production, generation of employment, there is increase in the income levels, demands in the economy, varieties of goods will come in the economy. And thus liberalization was adopted first. So the first liberalization policy was introduced in industrial sector. Licensing system was removed. License Raj. Some industrialists used to rule, so that license system was removed completely, except cigarettes, alcohol, hazardous goods or hazardous chemicals. Rest all the consumer goods, capital goods industries can be started by private sectors. Small scale industries now were dereservation policy. The goods that were reserved for small scale industries, now 40 years they have operated. It's high time that they should now compete. They have earned their profits. So now those goods can also be produced by large scale industries. Public sectors were restricted to atomic energy, railways, and defense. Means they can operate in other sectors also, but atomic energy, railways, and defense were only for public sectors. Private sectors cannot start atomic energy, that is electricity production, railways, the heartline, and the defense. You know that today also in India, guns are not sold in the market. Private sectors cannot open a shop or produce guns and sell in the market and anybody can go and buy. No, it is not allowed like Western countries. Promoting large scale production was allowed. And now price mechanism will prevail. Government will not interfere for fixing the prices. There will be price mechanism. Demand and supply will determine the prices of the products. Financial market will also become liberal. Role of RBI was reduced from controller to facilitator. Now RBI will not control the commercial banks, the public sector banks, rather than only facilitate, provide some guidelines, make some rules and regulations, but they will be allowed to operate openly. Not only public sectors will allowed to be open operating, private sectors will also be now allowed to start banks. They can open as many branches they want, so that people can bring money to the banks. The bank can do business. There is flow of investments, capital formation. The first step of capital formation is saving. Then saving is mobilized, it goes to the bank, and then bank use that money for giving loans. So these are the steps, rotation, and this is the flow of money that takes place in the market. Financial institutions plays a very important role in mobilizing the money in the market. So now private sectors will be allowed to operate that. They can open as many branches they want. Foreign investments are also allowed. They can start companies, investment companies, partnership with the firms, production firms, up to 50%. Direct investments I'm talking about. Foreign direct investments were also allowed. But within the Indian companies, up to 50%. Now this will allow the sectors to grow. give more opportunities to the private sectors. They will learn from the foreign producers. Even foreign institutional investments were also allowed. That is, I'm talking about liquid investments, investments in the market, technically called portfolio investments. Portfolio investments were also allowed. Investment in shares and debentures of the Indian companies. Now, foreign investors can also buy the shares and debentures of the Indian company. This will allow the flow of money in the market. More flow of money in the market means more production, more demand, more employment. Public banks were also given autonomy. Now they don't have to take or wait for the ministers or the ministry to take the decision. They have the power to take own decisions so that they can compete with the private sectors. Even tax policies was liberalized, which is also called fiscal policy. Direct tax, indirect tax were reduced. Corporate tax were reduced. Corporate taxes are the taxes paid by the private sectors from their profits. They were also reduced. So when the tax rates are reduced, people will pay more taxes. That was the assumption, you can see. Government will able to generate more revenues. And tax system was simplified. It was made easy so that a layman can also understand how much tax he has to contribute. And thus, the tax system was made simpler with an objective that more taxes will be now paid by the people and the government will be able to generate revenues. Foreign exchange, India devalued its currency. When I say devalue the currency, means we lowered down the value of the currency in the international market. Now Indian currency became cheaper. And when Indian currency becomes cheaper in terms of foreign currency, that means Indian goods will become cheaper. This will promote exports. But foreign goods will become expensive because our currency's purchasing power has gone down. And that's why this will reduce imports. That was the main objective behind it. And once this is done, now the Indian market was kept open. The exchange rate now will be determined by the demand and supply. Demand of foreign currency and supply of foreign currency. Open market will determine the exchange rate of Indian currency with that of foreign currency. Trade and investments also became liberal. Quantitative restrictions were removed. Export license, import license were removed. There were import license for certain goods, which were hazardous goods, chemical based goods. There were licensing for them, but for consumer goods, the import licenses were removed. It was relaxed. There was relaxation in those import licensing systems. Import duties were removed. Quota system were removed so that more goods now can be bought by the Indian traders and they can sell the imported products in the market. Now, what was the objective behind that? When the imported products will come to the market, Indian traders, Indian producers will also learn from those products. There'll be competition in the product market. And due to the flow of goods and services, the prices of the goods and services will come under control. Inflation rates will reduce. That was the important concept behind that.